Hello and welcome to the Balance CEO podcast. Today I have my first guest, my beautiful friend, Phoebe Hart. She is a marketing specialist, a yoga instructor, and a somatic practitioner, and a wealth of knowledge. And I'm so excited to have her here as my first guest. So welcome, honey.
Thanks for having me. I'm so excited.
Yay.
Can't wait to just see where the chat goes.
Yeah, me too. So we've both got very similar backgrounds and upbringings, and in terms of like the time frame in our lives of when we dived into this whole other world of living. So maybe just take us back to the beginning of where it all started.
Oh my gosh. Within like transformation, would you say?
Or a little bit about your upbringing, like you as a child.
Yeah. Oh God, long journey, guys. I hope you're ready.
Yeah, strap in.
Well, I was born in the UK, so I'm not from New Zealand, but I've been living here 8 years. But my parents separated when I was 4, so I was very young. And it was a very messy divorce. So I feel like any child of divorce kind of understands the complexities of unraveling that as an adult. And yeah, I feel like my family is really beautiful and unique and very modern. Like every ism there is, like I feel like we have. So my mum separated from my dad and has a wife. So I've had 2 mums growing up from the age of 4 my whole life. And my stepmom, Sue, is incredible. So that was definitely not a hindrance. And then my dad remarried as well, a woman much younger than him, and very, very complex relationships there. Just as you know, growing up as a child with like a younger stepmom, there is that natural kind of battle for father attention. And he ended up living overseas in Spain. So we lived at a distance for most of my life. And then I feel like my journey kind of like took me in many different directions because I chose to become a professional dancer at a very young age. Went full pelt into that career, not really knowing anything other than I just wanted to dance and I loved dancing, and was very not prepared for the real world and the industry and what came from it. So I feel like that's where my dark path started to happen, like being in an environment around a lot of traumatized people. I mean, I feel like most artists, like a lot of lack of sisterhood in that you're just kind of pitted against each other. And surrounded by the entertainment industry, which is all lights and action and alcohol and drugs. So I feel like as a young adult, you're chasing your dream, but then your dream isn't quite what you thought it was because you're surrounded by so many unhealthy people and you become very unhealthy yourself. Like I said, my career happened very hard and fast. And then it kind of ended because I was just mentally very unwell. I was in like bad relationship after bad relationship, some really beautiful humans, but like how I was behaving was bad. And I just wasn't demonstrated the basics in life. Well, I would say not demonstrated, not taught how to look after my health, how to healthily relate to other people, and then how to manage money. Like they're like the 3 core things. When I left the dance industry, that's kind of the journey that took me to ending up living here in New Zealand. Retrained as a yoga teacher, and that was like a beautiful journey because it allowed me to reconnect to movement in a way that kind of really acknowledges the spiritual aspect of your being, and it's not just mind and body being used as like a performance tool. It's kind of like you learn who you are through your movement rather than just performing. And then was traveling as a yoga and surf instructor and wound up here
in Whangarei.
Of all places. I was just saying before we hopped on, it's like every time I come back here, it's like I get to reflect on how much life has changed since my life here started, because it's been 8 years. And to be honest, New Zealand has housed my most tumultuous years. Like the stuff that's happened in my life since getting here, like thankfully now I'm in a slightly better place, but the first 3 to 4 years in New Zealand were like dark, dark seasons, like introduced to drugs for the first time really in my life, although I was aware of them when I lived in other places. Something about Australia and New Zealand, it's like part of the culture here more than alcohol. Like alcohol was more my thing at home.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really. Drugs.
And just like living around people where that was kind of the norm. And I never used to the point where it harmed me, but like I dabbled but it always just kind of was like hard to live alongside people where that was their like weekend thing.
Yeah.
When like for me, life and drive and passion was always my thing. And then sadly, through COVID years, my dad got sick. He ended up passing away. And I ended the relationship that I had up here in Whangarei because I just felt like I wasn't surrounded by my people.
Yeah.
And even though they're beautiful people, there was something about the way they lived that wasn't my life, you know. So I moved myself to Auckland and in search of finding my people, and lots of good things has unraveled from there.
Yeah.
And obviously, from all those titles you said at the beginning, there's been lots of study and lots of other little pathways within that. But
you've gone through a huge transition just in the
yeah,
past few years.
yeah. I would say the last 5 years have been a big turning point in my life from being in very unconscious, unhealthy relationships, behaving very unhealthily myself, to kind of like looking around me and starting to observe like, no, I don't want to behave that way, even though that might be what I'm surrounded by. Like I can see that that's not good.
You are who
for
you
me.
surround yourself with,
Yeah.
right? And that was my reality for so many years because I didn't get out and it was my
Yeah.
norm and it was just that's what we did for years. Drugs went hand in hand with alcohol, and it takes you to actually remove yourself from that to be able to get away from it.
Yeah, and also just seeing like generationally what's passed through too, right? Because like a big turning point for me was when I went home to be with my dad when he was really sick. And although he was like quite literally given a few months left to live, like he could not reach for the alcohol. Like he was so in need of it that even when he needed to like fight for his life, he couldn't put it down. And that was just like such an eye opener to like the tenderness of addiction and how it can, even though you know that it will end your life, you still like need it,
Well, I think a lot of people don't actually see the damage, and like that's why something like this is so important because I can see what one glass of red wine does to me, what it does to my sleep, and that was where my sobriety journey began, was like actually researching what does alcohol do to my body? What is one glass of wine doing to my body? What is a whole bottle of wine? Like what's nicotine doing? What's drugs doing? What are all these things doing? So that you can actually understand, like we just get told alcohol's bad for you, like, but it's literal poison.
Yeah.
It's so accepted in our society to just be this like thing that you have at 10 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday and it's okay. But at a kid's birthday, like that was a big thing for me, was when I started like dabbling into becoming sober like a few years ago. The first step was one of Willow's birthdays. We were like, we're not drinking. You can drink if you want, but we're not drinking, and the birthday party will be over at the end of the day. Like we're not carrying on. This isn't for the adults, and like that's just a normal thing now. So normalized.
So much to say about all the things that are normalized right now. Yeah, so much.
I know both of us are very passionate about hustle culture, trying to live in this world right now where we want to be paid to exist.
Girl, someone pay me to exist.
Come on, we're pretty enough. We should be able to just be paid to exist.
Yeah.
But also being very driven women that,
Yeah.
and also very spiritual women.
Mhm.
Like we both work in such a holistic way that it's like, we should be paid for the work that we do, but
Mm.
how do we do that in the economy that we live in when we've got to actually work a job to have that security of being able to pay our bills, but then we want to also, expand in what we want to do, but
Yeah.
then there's not that stability.
Yeah.
It's a hard place to be in right now.
Yeah, man. I mean, I've been working with this so closely, even just for myself in the last couple years, just especially this year, just like really acknowledging all the different parts of myself and what each of their needs are to feel safe. Because
Mm,
I feel like we're also multifaceted, but like we have very strong driver parts within us that are very driven, very independent, very hardworking.
mm,
And sometimes they can sit in the driver's seat for too long. And there's like other parts of us that are craving, like you said, are craving more stability,
mm,
more financial security. And it's like learning to give space to all of those different parts of us and know when one has like taken over too much
yeah.
so that you can understand, like, firstly, why it's there. Like, it's a protective part, it's holding you in this space for a reason. And like, what having conversation with that part of you as to like, what do you need to take a little step back for a second? Because there's some other parts of me that are wanting to speak here.
Mm,
There's like other parts of me that are, like needing something. And for me, it was, yeah, those last couple of years, like there was a real need for um, laying financial foundations for myself and kind of having those hard truths of like, yes, that can come from working for yourself, but also that's not the only way. Like, I
yeah.
think online, because everyone is very entrepreneurial and promoting themselves, and like we've both built businesses online, so we know what it takes. But it almost kind of, yeah, I kind of like this new era where some people are trying to like de-influence
Yeah.
rather than influence, because
Same.
like, so what if you need to work a normal job for a few
Yeah.
days, and like what does that bring you? Because like we've spoken about it, like connection is so
Mm,
important, and working on your own can be very lonely.
so lonely.
Um and
Yeah.
for me it was, yeah, connection and financial stability, especially coming from a space where I wasn't really taught very much
Mm,
financial knowledge. So the last couple of years I've really had to like learn that, and like when I have had money, like learn my habits with it.
yeah.
And um I definitely feel like I'm in this dance still, because
Mm,
I'm half in doing my own thing, half in working for someone else's business. But it's, yeah, it's really been about like juggling and holding both parts of
mm,
that for myself. I know there'll be another season where I'll probably go hardcore into one or hardcore in the other, but I think if you're craving something stable, regular,
yeah.
isn't all consuming,
I was
you know?
reflecting back on when I was manifesting, and I manifested being mortgage free within 6 months, because lately I feel like I've been clutching at straws at some manifestations, and it's been really frustrating. And I was reflecting back, and like I had a job. I had a full-time
Mhm.
job. I had a partner. I had a
Mhm.
house. I had security. I had no other worries. Like
Yeah.
there was nothing else on my plate. I
So there
could
was
go to work
space.
every day, and I was finishing work, and I would come home and I could do what I wanted.
Yeah.
On the weekends, I could do what I wanted.
Yeah.
I got up in the morning and I meditated every single day. So I was in this state of like receivership. Right now, I've got like the Wellness Haven, Tina Langdon coaching. I've got stuff going on with It's a Vibe. I'm doing social media content for another business. Like, there is just shit going on all the time. That how can I even be in a space of like trying to create all these massive manifestations that I have of like becoming a millionaire and like all these things that I want to do, build a house on my own, like have these huge goals. How do you do that when you're not even in a place of regulation? Like you
Mm.
actually can't.
Mm.
You just
Mm.
can't. And that's where I'm at right now, is looking into getting some sort of stability and connection. Like I spend 90% of my life on my, probably more, about 90% of my life on my own. Like if you don't include, the times when I've got Willow, but outside of that, I don't have a lot of adult human connection. And I used to work in a big corporate office with multiple people, lots of personalities. I worked with my best friend. Like it was fun, and like, yeah, it was hard, but it was fun. Like we'd talk shit. My boss was awesome. I don't have that. I make every decision on my own right now, as a parent, as a business owner, household, all of the things, everything is done on my own. And I think I'm just craving that, like, to be around people. And I think a lot of people are missing that as well. I was having this conversation yesterday with someone about, they were like, oh, I've kind of gone off people. And I was like, the problem is that people have isolated themselves so much. We've isolated ourselves in our homes. We don't have villages anymore. Like people are working from home, that now we actually don't really know how to connect. A lot of people don't know how to have that community aspect, and that is what we're missing.
I've definitely felt that, and that's why I've again made a shift this year to like study something new, to like get to the root of like what I'm wanting in career, because I've been in a marketing role for 5 years now, and it's all online. And at one point a couple of years ago, working from home was the dream, and I moved my life to the Mount, even though the business is in Auckland. But now, and like so many people are going through this, like that was the dream back off the back of COVID era, because you can do your washing at the same time as doing your work. But then you're like sitting in your house and you haven't left your house all day. And
There's
I'm
no
like,
disconnect from home life to work life.
And then all your stresses are in your home. And that impact, if you do have a partner at home, or like even if it's just yourself, like you go to bed and your work is like still right next to you. And so I'm very much in the transition still to move away from, my marketing role at some point. So I've retrained in body work again, because like I was saying to you earlier, like when I'm in the studio and I'm massaging, it's like human to human, which is what I'm really wanting. It's connection, it's touch, it's transformation, but also like I don't look at my phone in the studio, whereas the marketing world is like a whole other conversation, but it's just become so much now. Like there's so much in that kind of role. It's too much.
Yeah. I do, like, I can barely do more than like 3 hours on my computer now. I used to do 8 to 10 hour days. I just can't do it anymore.
Well,
I'm a scatterbrain. It's just the back and forth of like looking at a big screen to my laptop, and like I just get like, I don't even drink coffee anymore, and I just get like agitated, like as if I've had coffee.
Yeah, well, you look at that in terms of like body and like nervous system and energy, and you're essentially like, you're busy, but you're not moving. So like,
you're not actually moving any energy.
You're not
from
moving
the
the energy out of you at all. And like, it's the tired and wired. That's how I feel most nights. If I haven't moved my body and I've been working all day, it's like I cannot go to sleep even though I'm exhausted. And it's like, you need to get out and you need to move your body, and you need to just your light environment is just like, it impacts your health so much.
I just don't work past like 4 o'clock anymore.
Yeah, good.
I just don't. I barely work more than 2 hours a day anymore. I just won't allow myself to do it. It affects my mental health so much. I think it would be different if I was going to another physical space. Like if I was going to work for 4 or 5 hours at a physical space, and I would have a lunch break and I would connect with other humans. I feel like that's a little bit different. But when you're working for yourself on your business, and even in a role like yours, like, it's so hard to stay motivated too. I've noticed lately that I've just been like starting work, half an hour later, because I can. And like, I don't like that. I want routine.
Need structure.
Like, I really want structure. Like, not that I really want to be driving for an hour and a half every day for where I live.
Girl, try 3.
But, fuck. No way. I go to Auckland like once a month, and I'm like, no thanks.
But funnily enough, my job is most bearable when I make that commute to Auckland and I'm in person with the team, because I'm
Yeah.
not just staring at my screen waiting for someone to slack
On
me
your
all
own.
day.
Yeah.
I'm actually sitting next to someone
Yeah.
and like I'll get up and, like walk around the space and like
Yeah.
there's those little
So much different,
micro
eh?
social connections that people are missing now.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm seeing that in the like obviously working with a few different generations in my job, and the younger generations, they're losing that ability for those like small micro
Mm.
interactions because there's less
Everyone
of them
wants to
now.
work online now,
Yeah.
and like that's the dream, and yeah, that's all good and well, but like sitting and staring at your phone screen for 8 hours a day, like that ain't doing any good for your mental health.
Mm.
Like, not at all. I think too, though, like I'm the type of person that I really like to create things,
Yeah.
and I like to create community.
Yeah.
But I get really deflated because I create the community and I speak to people and they tell me that, that's what they need, and like there's such a lack of it, and then you create it and then people are just too busy to show up. And then it's like, what's even the point in trying to start something if like the most like-minded people that you know can't show up because they're too busy for it, It's like, it's just hard to continue that momentum when you're always the driver of like trying to bring people together, which is, why I'm feeling pretty deflated, I think.
I hear the driver in you, girl.
Mm.
Like, I've been talking to my driver self a lot this year too. Like, and she is exhausted, it
Yeah.
sounds like. She's also wanting to hop out that driver's seat for a little bit.
Yeah.
But like, well, I mean, we were talking about it earlier, but like, how would she feel safe to step out of that driver's seat? Because she will so automatically jump back in. Because her not being in the driver's seat when that's been your default for so long.
My nervous system has to get
Yeah.
used to, like even me today, I got like all excited about this job that's on Seek, and I'm like, fucking hell, Tanya, I've given myself 3 months off. Like, just have 3 months off. You've literally renovated, bought and sold houses, built businesses for the past 8 years. My body is just like, you actually just need to do nothing. But it's very hard for someone like me to just do nothing.
Well,
I
do you
say
remember my rest space era?
Oh, yeah.
That didn't last long, girl. No, I still hold like space for my rest space. Like, I think the learning is still like, I think that's why I tried to birth it, is because I needed it most, like,
of course.
and I still need it because rest is so uncomfortable. I think I'm very comfortable with it.
Yeah.
And then actually the reality is I'm not. Like, me and Ethan always joke with each other because he's like, oh yeah, you've filled all your time up again. Because I get on the edge of burnout, and he's like, yeah, well, what happened to all that space you created a few months ago? He's like, you filled it again.
That's where I'm at right now. Is I'm like, no, nothing on my calendar for the next month. And then I like have this, someone amazing come into my life that's starting in the Wellness Haven. And now I've got all these classes happening, and like there's so much going on, which is amazing. And like I say that, there's nothing on my calendar and I'm doing nothing. Like, I run a physical business. It's not that I'm doing nothing. It's just that it's not as chaotic as it was 6 months ago when I was literally in the building phase of building 2 physical spaces, where that was absolutely mental, and would never recommend that on.
Well, I think that word chaos is interesting if you reflect back on our upbringings, because that is what our nervous systems were wired to. Is actually baseline was always like a lot going on and a lot of stress. So like we're wired towards being stressed more than we are at ease.
You
and
can tell.
it sneaks back in so many different ways, right? Like for most part of my life, I feel like I've made some like really healthy changes, and life is very different. But it's like when you're going through the hard times again, you're like, oh, I'm back here again.
I noticed it with my phone. So like for the part, like ever since I got back from Bali, maybe like 3 or 4 weeks, I've been like very much not wanting to be at my phone. Every night it goes away at 6 o'clock. I don't, don't look at it. And I've just noticed that like the doom scrollings creep back in, and like my phone at 8 o'clock at night now. And it's like, man, it just does nothing for me. Like, why do I even do it?
I kind of want to bring in the like and I probably always did this with you, is like there's a certain balance of like having compassion in those scenarios, right? Because I feel like if the bad habits creep back in, it's easy to then like really let it feel shit. But at the same time, it's like you're doing those things is also like a protection mechanism in a way.
Yeah.
Like your body is still also trying to look after you by like searching for that little ounce of dopamine that it
Yeah.
needs.
Yeah. Yeah, it is for sure. Especially with, recently giving it
Yeah.
nicotine as well. It's like it's just trying to find that dopamine all the time. But I just feel every time I am like that with my phone, I feel so much more disconnected
Yeah.
to my body. And yeah, I'd love for us to dive more into the nervous system side of things, because
Yeah.
I think there's just so much wrong information out there, as we know, of like what it actually means to have a regulated nervous system. I think everyone just thinks that, being regulated is that you need to be calm all the time, but it's actually meeting yourself where you're at with your emotions and allowing yourself to feel in all these different ways. And as most people in their upbringing, they haven't actually been taught how to process any sort of emotion. And that's why there are people with, alcohol addictions and all these different things in their adult life, because they're suppressing what they don't know how to feel or what they don't want to feel, what we're not taught to feel. We're
Yeah.
not taught that, anger is a safe emotion and that we can actually scream into a pillow and it's okay. And we're not taught how to actually get it out of the body. And obviously we both work in a somatic
Yeah.
in a somatic way, but very differently.
Yeah.
Breathwork is very different to some of the somatic practices that you do. So I'd love for us
Yeah.
to dive into that.
Yeah, I mean, gosh, like the basics of the nervous system are like that. Like they are very basic, but I feel like good old Instagram has like spun it in every which direction. Yeah, where to begin? I mean, my study was in polyvagal theory through my somatic training. So essentially like the science of safety. And I think for a while people got too hooked on the safety, and now what I like to lean into in all my modalities, especially now I've moved to the face, is actually it's how can I be within healthy expression rather than trying to contain myself in
Yeah,
some way,
because we
because
can't always feel safe. It's
no,
just not possible.
and like leaning towards safety all the time, like safety doesn't happen unless there is healthy expression, I feel like. I mean, if we were want to go into like the basics, even the hierarchy of the nervous system, the way in which you move through the nervous system automatically, and through practices like breath work, you can obviously support it in doing this as well. But there's like the three states, and everyone knows the two, the parasympathetic and the sympathetic. But then within the parasympathetic branch, there's ventral vagal, which is that kind of safe, connected space, which is the one everyone's kind of like goaling for. But
Trying to find everyone's trying to find it. How do I get it?
But then also within parasympathetic branch, there's the dorsal vagal, which is actually like the shutdown, the freeze, the appease, like the people pleasing. And I think for me, I had a big awakening, and because when I first got introduced to the nervous system was through yoga, and it was very much like glorified the parasympathetic, the way that people were like glorifying safety all the time. And then I realized that there's a part, the branch to the parasympathetic that you end up in when you've been in sympathetic for so long. Because essentially, if you're go, 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 working in fight and flight so much, your body will then take you to the dorsal shutdown response in order to kind of force you into rest. And that can look like burnout for some people in different trauma scenarios. That looks like people pleasing. It looks like fawning and lots of numbing, no feeling to the body. And that's why I like to bring in this thing of expression. It's as simple as kind of naming the feeling sometimes, but then also describing all of the elements to it, because we're so disconnected to our bodies. And there are some really easy, simple gateways back to feeling connected to your body. But depending on what your kind of natural nervous system state is within stress, there's different routes you can take. Breath is so great because you can choose the modality within breath based on where they're at.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about any kind of somatic work, is that you really meet the person where they're at now.
Yeah.
You don't have to take them back into the past. There are professionals that can guide you through that, but actually you're dealing with what's here in the here and now,
Yeah.
and you're not re-traumatizing.
And I didn't know this concept too, because I'm trauma informed. I was kind of taught that, like, you allow the body to go back to, your trauma and your past. And so my previous work has been quite revolved around that trauma side. My latter work now is very much revolved around when we begin to work with the here and now and our future and what we're trying to call in, it actually works out our past just by doing that.
Yeah.
We don't have to go. I think this is what people latch onto, is like, I don't want to go back to these places. I don't want to think about my past. You don't actually have to.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
the beauty of working with the body and in a somatic
Yeah.
practice. It's just bringing knowledge to people of like what it can actually do for them.
Well, yeah, because I mean, it's stored there, right? So if you're working with the here and now and your response that you're having in the here and now, like the reason you're responding right now is because of your past. You don't have to go to the past in order to re-feel it. Like it's already in you, like your lived experience is already within your fascial network. I mean, I think there's a time and a place for the like digging into the past stuff, and there are like highly trained people that can guide you through that if that's what you feel you're needing. But I think, yeah, for a lot of people, it's like, oh, I don't want to go to therapy because I don't want to talk about my past. And it's like, there are other ways
Yeah.
now. Like there
Yeah.
are so many body
You don't
work.
even have to talk in a
Yeah, you don't
somatic
have to
practice.
talk. Yeah. And you can just come and lie on a table with a body worker. And if
Yeah.
they're skilled enough to understand like how to work with your system, then yeah, you can unravel things in many different ways now. Yeah.
It is beautiful to see that this type of work that we're in is becoming a bit less woo-woo now. Like I've definitely
Yeah.
noticed a shift. Even, I have males messaging me a lot, and like it's just a really beautiful space to be able to see that, oh, they actually don't think that this work is really weird or out there, because it is like by far the most natural process of any sort of like healing or growth or progression that you can ever do.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, don't get me wrong, there's still probably like a high percentage of some people out there doing
Oh.
some wish.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I feel like those people haven't even done the work on themselves. They're on the whole other spectrum, and I feel like we are in this like really beautiful, happy medium of like living with, spirit and the matrix, and having a beautiful balance of just reality.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, I guess why I've moved more towards like an interest in expression rather than healing trauma, for example, because I think we all went through that phase where we were like, yeah, like really keen to understand our trauma.
Yeah. We haven't even mentioned too, I worked with Phoebe for 6 months in the somatic space as well after my separation, which was it was actually interesting because Phoebe was with me through the whole journey of being here and where I am now, where we're sitting. I was actually in a space next door when we did all of our sessions together. We finished our container there. And I remember you'd take me through these practices of like, where do you feel your chords and your roots go to? And it was like always out to the sea, and it was always to the left of me and through this farm that I live on and up to my dad's house. And now I'm here living on like this commune with my family. And yeah, it's pretty wild.
Yeah, and that's what I find interesting about, somatic coaching in that way. And like now looking at what you do with manifestation work is like the body and manifestation work just work so hand in hand because, I remember that process for you a lot is actually like really needing roots and foundation at that time, at a time where so much was changing. And that came through so strongly, kind of over and over again. Like you needed this before you could build
For
anything,
sure. Yeah, I was just in a stage of healing. I mean, I was doing breath work, I was running events, which really lit me up. Like, loved doing that. But other than that, I had no, like, didn't know what I was going to do. The Wellness Haven came, I think the idea of it came like right at the end of us working together.
Mhm.
But I just realized too, like when we were working together, I was in a very confused state of like not knowing what the hell I was doing. And I feel like I'm
You're back,
there.
Hugo. Welcome back.
Like we've done a full 360 like 2 years
Yeah.
later. I've built all this and now I'm like, what the fuck am I doing with my life?
Yeah, but like that's life,
Yeah,
right?
it's a
And I
pretty
think
cool place to be because I feel like
yeah.
I've never felt my future be so unknown
Yeah.
ever.
But we as humans right now resist these natural cycles so much, those seasons of like coming back round to the not knowing after birthing and creating. And like we avoid this kind of winter not knowing
Yeah,
pause phase so much. Like everyone does now because it's just uncomfortable. I mean, you're like me, you probably like to summer hop all year long and you
yeah.
don't want to be in winter for too long.
No,
Yeah, you'd rather just be in the go and the birthing and the flourishing
yeah,
all the
love the
time.
birthing.
Yeah.
Love that phase.
Yeah.
But yeah, we can't always be there.
Yeah, I was thinking when you said that, like, was there anything else from that time that you really took? Because I feel like even, mm, we were in that kind of like practitioner client seat, but now we're like friend on friend
Mm.
seat. Like, you must even see within me that, like, my life is very different to when I was
Yeah,
practicing like that.
yeah.
And, post that, I probably held those somatic coaching containers for a good year and a half. And you were
Mm,
probably the last container I did,
mm,
actually. And then I went back into full time
yeah,
work, like that was a year and a half of me, like really trusting what I came here to do on
yeah.
earth. And then this part of me came in again that was like, no, actually, I just need to know what paycheck I'm getting every 2 weeks for
That's
a little
very
while.
interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's interesting that you word it like that because that's kind of where I'm at. Of like, but I thought that this was what I needed to do. It was like
Mhm.
coaching and breathwork, and not saying that I'm not going to be doing any of that, but I just don't know what that looks like for
Yeah.
me. And that's, yeah, I don't know what the future holds. Obviously, the wellness haven's not going anywhere,
Yeah.
but in terms of coaching and running that and running another business on my own, I'm just not sure if I can do it any longer. And I feel that
Mm.
of like the security and
Mhm.
the people and being a part of something else too.
Yeah, and I almost like reflecting on hearing that and reflecting on my own, return to work and then return back to my own things again is that like there's probably something more within your own journey that's gonna unfold
Mm,
right now so that when you come back to this soul work of coaching and transformation for others, it's almost like maybe it's like bringing it back to you again because there's something more
yeah.
within it. And not to make you feel like there's like always more because it's actually probably a case of like less like for us.
Yeah.
But um, the soul work's not ever going to go, girl. Like we're
No.
stuck on this train for life,
And
unfortunately.
sometimes I want to get off this
Yeah.
roller coaster, but no, it can't ever go anywhere. And I think I definitely lost sight of it when I was building the two physical businesses. There was just no space for it.
Mm,
Couldn't do it all. I wasn't
yeah.
regulated to do any of this type of work, and I think it took me quite a long time to like get into it. I was even, I even had a one-on-one client where I was like, fuck, I just feel like that wasn't my best work, and that
Hmm.
really upset me. And then I was quite worried about the private retreat that I ran and how that was going to go, and that was actually a massive eye opener for me that I wasn't doing the work that I preach and I wasn't doing enough of the work that works. And so when I came back from that and I saw the transformation that these women had, and I was like, fuck,
Yeah.
I just need to start doing the work on
Yeah.
myself. No more structure, like
Yeah.
no more building. Stop trying to force things to work and start actually connecting back in with your body. And that's like where I'm at now of
Yeah.
just waiting and being patient and listening to like whatever that next step is because I got no idea what it is
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah. And I feel you. I felt quite unaligned with the practice I was sharing with others because I wasn't in practice myself. And I think that's a line that a lot of practitioners can relate to, is that, yeah, if you're not creating that space and time to be, and sometimes it's that, there's some more depth to your practice too that might be coming in. Like, you don't know what might come in this space. Like for me, probably what I would have been speaking about online, like even 2 years ago, like I'd have a slightly different opinion on now. So,
Yeah, for sure.
and
that's okay.
Yeah, let it evolve.
And like we learn new things. Like, I don't know, when I think we've had this conversation before about like you knew that veganism was not the right way when you saw that, the health system was preaching you to
let's go
be a
there.
vegan. Let's go there. Fuck, I've tried it all. I wasn't vegan, but I was vegetarian. I've gone the complete other end and been carnivore and done keto, and like I was adamant that, carnivore was the way that you needed to eat. And like, fuck, I've done so much research since then about like women's hormones and eating fiber and vegetables and all of these things. And like, we fucking need it. And fasting, like, oh my God. I remember before working with you, even probably while I was working with you, I was fasting. And fuck, now I can't not eat within like an hour and a half of waking up. And the like what it's done for me and my body is like insane. And my hormone, like just.
But isn't it that beautiful how it unfolds? Because like I'm not a nutritionist or a naturopath. And at the time I wanted to like be like, girl, stop the fasting, but it wasn't my remit. But I do remember just dropping a Mitchell's protein powder on your desk when I got here and said, "Oh, just try this in the mornings." No,
I don't. No, I can't have without it. I've gone off the flavors now. Yeah. I sell it, by the way, at the Wellness Haven.
But I think that's the thing. Like, most of the big health podcasts, most of the big research that's out there now is all on male. Oh, it's all on the man's body. And like there are some amazing women now starting to like actually do the research on women, but it's actually so little still.
There's an amazing podcast on the Diary of a CEO.
I listened to that one. With all four of them.
Specialists. Amazing. Every woman should listen to both the podcasts.
And men. Men, go listen to that. But I was vegetarian like most of my life. Like I was and I still am, like very sensitive to texture. I was quite a fussy eater as a child. My mum was vegetarian, even though my siblings ate meat. So like it didn't feel like too much of an adjustment for me to not eat meat if I didn't want to. So I kind of just grew up like not really eating heaps of meat. I went through a little phase in my teens where I ate a little bit of chicken, but most of the time I just wasn't into it. But also reflecting on like where I was living too in the UK, like we're so disconnected to the land there that I think actually something within me just really was repulsed by it and the process that I was so unaware of. Whereas it's been a journey since, again, living in New Zealand, because you guys are so much more connected to the land here. When I lived in Northland, everyone was catching fish. Everyone was bringing kill home.
The best meat in the world.
And I was like, vegan at that point, because I was at that point in my journey where I'd been the yogi and I'd been the vegan. And by the time I ended my time in Northland and moved to Auckland, like I'd been eating a little bit of fish, still hadn't touched meat, but I was so ill. I was like living on pretty much like, oat milk full of oil and like pea chips again full of oil, like fake food.
It's not even food. Right?
And it's just like up to my eyeballs in seed oils. Like that has been the thing for me, is like
wondering why you're just continuously sick and have no energy.
I had like this chronic knee problem where like my whole knee was like double the size and like no one could figure out why. So it's been, but that, again, that process of coming back to me, at one point I had a naturopath that was very hardcore And now she is actually still hardcore. I really respect her for it. She won't work with vegans. Like, she will only work with people if they're open to eating meat. And I'm like, go you, girl, because
Yeah,
you
that's
truly
amazing.
live your belief. But for
Yeah.
me at the time, my system couldn't, like, was shaped around the beliefs I'd formed with food. I'd had a big journey with food throughout my life, and, eating disorders and all the rest of it that comes with that. So my relationship to food was so tender that going to me like, oh, you need to eat meat for this reason, was like more than just like cognitive understanding that I needed to eat it. It was like a whole emotional journey I had to go on. And I did just start simple with like bone broth in a smoothie. Where I, wasn't physically putting meat in my mouth. And over time, it's just been like one little step at a time. And like how I feel in comparison, it's just crazy. It's crazy.
Skin, everything.
I kind of joke that I've actually only just started going through puberty now in my 30s, because I honestly think I was just so deficient.
Wow.
I didn't ever grow hair under my armpits. Like, I barely had
Wow.
probably TMI, but yeah, I just feel like I've finally hit puberty.
I remember when I was vegetarian, and although I would eat great food, I wasn't tracking my macros or anything. I had no idea how much protein I was having during the day. And I was only vegetarian for maybe like 6 months to a year, but that was through COVID, and we got COVID, and oh my fucking God, I've never been so ill in my life. And honestly, I put it down to the fact that I just had nothing in me.
Yeah.
There was nothing to even fight it off, because I was getting no substance. Like, we have to have protein. And I think there are some vegans that,
they can do it well. But it's also your
they do it well.
genetics. Like, some people are more genetically wired towards a plant-based diet, and other people are like, they need the meat. And it really depends on like,
some people can
where
eat
you came
red meat,
from.
some people can't. There's so many variants for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, just even like learning about like fiber, and like when you go into like keto, and there's not a lot of vegetables, and like fuck, there's so much noise for sure, and there's just so much out there that we don't have information on, and there's so many quick fixes now that are being promoted of like, okay, eat 1,600 calories a day or whatever, X amount, but eat whatever the fuck you want. And it's like, oh, like I see these, fitness guys like sharing, their meals. Oh, you can have this sandwich and it's only 400 calories. Like, it's a fucking white bread and a shitty piece of chicken. Like, that is not good for you. You should not be eating processed food like that, even if it is within your calorie restriction. Like, yeah, you can eat burgers every night of the week if it's within your calories. That's great, but that's not good for your body. Like, yes, you might lose weight, but there's still going to be inflammation in your body. Like, it's not good for your mental health. You're just not getting the right nutrients.
But it circles back around to the fact that we're very disconnected to our bodies, because if the more you're connected to the body, the more you notice when you eat something how your body responds, and especially when you start shifting things, you're like, the gut, like, and how your body holds fluid, or like there's heaps to it. But
so much.
The quick fix thing like really brings me, I feel like we've gone round and round a lot of topics, but right now, especially moving into facial massage, I'm like on such a mission to just really help people understand, like, that in your 20s and 30s, you don't need to be doing Botox. And you don't really need to ever do it in your life. But I'm just so worried for people that are starting this really young.
Yeah.
Like, I understand the culture around it and where it's come from and why people are doing it. And I'm not against people doing it. I want to kind of state that. Like, I don't hold any judgment. But at the same time, it's that quick fix thing. People aren't willing to work with their body and how their body works in order to age healthily. So they're just wanting to like find this substance that they can use, and they never look at the long-term effects. It's like if you're going to freeze a muscle in your face, you're going to stop blood flow going to that area and all the rest of it, and things atrophy and deteriorate.
Headaches because they're getting Botox, and I like, full disclaimer, I've had Botox.
Yeah, and so many of my friends have.
Yeah,
yeah.
but I've stopped now. I don't think I'd ever go back, to be honest.
But like, that's the thing why I hold it in both. Like, I'm like, I get why people do it, and some my friends are going to continue to do it. But I'm like, I think there's a bigger conversation around like how we view our expression and how we age.
Why are we so scared? Like, when I see a beautiful photo of a elderly woman, I'm like, man, she lived an amazing life. What the fuck are we going to look like, in 40 years' time when there's not, like, when the rest of our body's wrinkled and our face isn't, and there's no expression on our face? Like, no thanks.
But also, like, your face and the way it's changing is a reflection of your insides and your whole body's health as well.
I look 10 years younger than I did 5 years ago. When I was in a toxic relationship, doing drugs and alcohol every weekend, my skin was like, I would have flare-ups all over my face of like these rashes, and like I look 10 years younger, 10 years older than I do right now. And
most of us in our 20s did. Just from the inflammation alone.
The ones that are now doing the work to be the healthiest, best version of themselves. Yeah, it's really sad. I was having this conversation the other day with someone that worked in a like a big clinic that does lots of injectables, and she just said that she could see the sadness in these women that were getting this, and like, there's no shade on anyone that gets it either, but make sure that you feel good about yourself inside before you go and make the decision to then go and
Well, that's the thing that's breaking my heart most. I have girls our age and younger coming in, for face-up massage with me, and how they feel about themselves just breaks my heart. And I'm like, if anything, I just want to create a space where you can come back to loving yourself right now. Like there's girls that come in with like genuinely not a wrinkle on their face and the most beautiful skin, and they're saying to me that they just before they came to try face up, like been up the road in Rimawara to see if they could get like a facelift procedure, and thankfully the doctor said no, like come back in like 30 years, you're way too young. But I'm just like, why have we gotten to this point in society where like we're doing these things for the quick fix of feeling a certain way right now, but like I don't know, like there's just so much to it where I feel very lucky, especially like looking at the different paths in my life that I never ended up like going that route. And I sometimes question with myself how I didn't end up getting Botox or anything. But I just think, I mean, Diary of a CEO, they talk about this a lot. Like, what is the trade-off? Like, if you're going to these things that are giving you these instant, quick changes, what is the trade-off? And do you care about the trade-offs enough?
Well, I think there's just not enough known.
There's not enough education.
No, there's really not.
Yeah.
But even like I see, some woman my mother's age, and who knows, my mum probably would have got Botox if she was still here, but I see some of her friends and there's not a lot of expression on their face after 10 years of Botox.
And I wonder what the generations of kids we have right now. Hi, Silla. I wonder, how I'm really curious to see how they grow up and what their expression is like, because, as a child, we learn expression through our mother's facial expressions. Like we learn how to relate to the world and emotions through facial expression. So if all of these moms have frozen faces right now, and like, to be honest, it's a lot, I'm so curious to know how their children are learning healthy relating, healthy emotional skills, how to mirror, how to read expression.
That's why they were quite worried about a lot of the children that were birthed around COVID
Yeah, because of the
because so many
masks.
people had masks
Yeah.
on their face, and it meant that they couldn't learn from facial expression, and that's the first way that a baby learns anything is
Yeah.
through
Yeah.
faces.
Yeah.
Mm.
I don't know. I don't have the answers, but I also am like, if you want to try the other way,
Yeah,
there's so many other things you can
exactly.
try. And like, it's funny because, you know, face up massage, the method is it started as a very like aesthetic thing. Like, I feel like actually still a lot of clients come through for the beauty aspects of it, but like any modality that works with the body, like the on flow of working with the body in that way is like often emotional releases too,
Yeah.
or often I can't tell you how chronic tight jaw is right now, and that is so connected to the nervous system. Like people are grinding their teeth and clenching their jaw at night because you're not processing how you're feeling in the day, and
Yeah.
it's coming out subconsciously in your sleep through one of the biggest muscles in your body. But
It was so interesting when I went through my separation. I'd never ever had any sort of jaw tension ever. I knew that I used to grind my teeth, but I think that that kind of stopped. I definitely don't grind my teeth now, but ever since I've just had this like insane amount of jaw tension. I don't know if it's around like, yeah, I just don't know where it came from and why it happened straight after my separation.
yeah,
And then I got botox in my masseters to try and help because it was
yeah,
so painful and it did absolutely
it's
nothing.
one of the most common places it's done
And it
these
did
days.
nothing but
Yeah.
make me get a double chin. Because it
Yeah.
makes
Yeah.
all your skin, like, it changes the shape
Yeah.
of your face.
Because your muscle is no longer working and it
Yeah.
is one of the muscles that you need most.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, if
But it
that
didn't
muscle's
even
not
work for
working,
me.
yeah,
Didn't do much and
yeah,
cost me way too much money. But
I'll give you a
but
face up
every
later,
time,
girl.
yeah, well, that's, yeah. I was going to a woman a while ago who does
The intraoral buccal
buccal
massage, yeah.
massage. Oh my God.
It's amazing.
Insane.
Yeah,
Absolutely insane.
yeah.
Like, I would go back to her in a heartbeat. There's no one in front of me that does it,
I can send
unfortunately.
you a lady who's Northland based
Oh,
that does face up. Yeah.
amazing.
Um, yeah, it's amazing. And like working with the connective tissue internally, like this is very off topic, but like very probably like open to discussing it too. It's the same with kind of like trauma stored within the vagina and like what
Yeah.
happens after birth trauma and all of the tissue down there. Like there are kind of yoni masseuses now that can
Yeah.
help you like process
Yeah.
what's being held there as well by working with the connective tissue internally. And it's the same with buccal massage. It's like it is a really great place where you can actually release tension from both sides. And yeah, so much need for body work.
So much need. I mean, yeah, I've definitely had to dive into that whole womb space aspect after coming out of a relationship where I felt like I didn't want sex ever in my life.
Yeah.
And then having to reconnect with that part of myself was it was pretty amazing to actually go through that process of, connecting in with that part
Yeah.
of me and actually realizing, oh no, there's nothing wrong with me.
Did you do that yourself? Did you have a coach?
Nah, I just did it
Yeah.
all myself, and I continue
Yeah.
to work with those energy centers. It's my
Yeah.
second center right now that I'm working with that I find is quite blocked. The
Yeah.
other one is free, but just So I just take myself through. It's actually a Joe Dispenza meditation where I just send love to those areas and
Yeah.
try and I always envision. I can always feel which one is blocked because I envision a flower blossoming. So I work with one center at a time, and then I envision like a flower and what color it is. And if it's like dismal, then I know that I've got
Wow.
it's
That's
been
really
really
cool.
cool. Yeah. And it's a
Yeah.
really easy practice to do. Like, it doesn't take long. I don't have to, I can sit down and close my eyes and just start focusing on that.
Yeah.
It's not like meditation where where you're trying to quiet the mind and you've got to sit there and like not think. You're actually putting your focus on a certain area of the body, and what you're trying to do is move the energy from, the bottom center to the top center, and move the energy from these three bottom ones particularly, and transform them into different energy.
Yeah.
Mm.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I probably went on a similar journey in reconnecting with myself in that way, like post the last breakup I had and then having a surgery on my cervix, and honestly, like going through a huge death around kind of sex and relating to that part of my body, like realizing that most of my life I hadn't been relating in a healthy way with that part of my body. And, um, then falling in love right after having that surgery and actually not being able to have sex for a little while because of the pain was like such a journey of like learning that someone could love me without it. But I actually ended up working with Melissa Franges, who's based here in New Zealand. She's an incredible somatic sex coach. And again, like you said, like beautiful practices as to reconnecting back to that energy. And again, like I feel like I keep coming back around, like expression, like that part of you is so linked to expression. And so many of us have had experiences that have like complicated our relationship to sex and relationships, and
or we have this real like slut mentality in New Zealand of like, okay, so it's all right for a male to go and sleep with however many women. It's actually praised if a male goes and does that, but if a female does that, she's
there's a lot of shame.
So much shame. It's like, why are we not allowed to express ourselves? I mean, for me personally, I don't enjoy that side of it. I have to have a really strong connection with someone to be able to be intimate with them. But there are women out there that want to go and just express themselves with casual sex, but it's really shamed.
Yeah.
It still is.
Yeah, and the shame piece for me was the hardest piece to work through, to be quite honest, because I felt for most of my life I was expressing myself healthily, sexually, because I had a lot of sex, to be quite honest.
Same.
But and then entering this era in my adulthood and like then being like what do I even like sexually now? It's like another huge transformation to go through. And I think it's so normal at different stages in life that like probably post birth, like the way that you were having sex was different to the way you did before. And like
wasn't any.
No. But like, I don't know. It's just like, again, like body work, somatic work, working with the body in some way can really navigate you through those things. Like I still feel like I'm in that journey right now, like especially being in such a healthy partnership. That's also a trip because like I was wired to find unhealthy relating like attractive, and like finding when you've been together for so long as well, like finding ways of still feeling that rise within you. Like you have to really work with the energy of that for yourself, but then within partnership. And it's like, God, it's a journey I never thought I'd have struggles with. And here I am in life having to
it's like
figure
dating.
it out.
It's like me dating right now. I've had like 3 textbook amazing dates, like with men, where I was like on paper 1000%, and I know that it's a universe going, are you gonna are you gonna give in and go with someone that's not 100% but then 95% there, or are you gonna wait for what's perfect? And like just really navigating like, you can have safety in a relationship. Like there are men out there that can make you feel really safe. And although nothing has led to anything, it's been a really beautiful experience of meeting these men and knowing that actually there are men out there where you can have an emotionally mature relationship. Mine comes down to a lot of like worthiness. Like my biggest relationship was pretty much my only relationship. I had lots of hookups, lots of casual
Yeah.
type relationships, anything serious. And I felt like I was never chosen. Like even in my longest relationship, the father of my child, we were together in high school and he left me for my best friend.
Oh gosh.
And then we got back together years later. Like I always felt like I was never chosen.
Yeah.
So now it's been a real process of like, if I'm on a dating app and I see a really attractive man, of like not resorting to that, like, oh, but I'm not good enough for him.
Yeah.
Which is just a thing that's kind of conspired through my whole life with men and, father, brother, all of it, not feeling enough. Yeah, that's been a process that I'm still going through.
Yeah. I
Mm.
feel like it is a lifelong process, isn't it? Like
Mm.
I'm thinking about where I'm at in my partnership right now. And for me, it's like my connection to joy and pleasure is like such a thing I have to work on. And again, like it circles right back around to the beginning of this chat. Like I'm so stuck in the like driver, worker, doer that there's no time for fun and play.
Yeah.
And like, of course, my body doesn't feel like doing things because like it's fucking exhausted, to be quite
You're in your
honest.
masculine.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
can't be in your feminine when, like, there's got to be that polarity.
Yeah.
You've got to feel safety to be in your feminine, and when you are, and that's a really hard thing. Like I've been really trying to tap into receiving more, like
Yeah.
even just receiving like compliments or just small little gestures and things like that. Someone compliments you, instead of saying, oh,
No.
doesn't,
Yeah.
just saying thank you, and like not actually feeling the need to have to compliment them back all of the time. So that's been a real practice that I've had to try and sit in, because even asking for help from like my own family is so fucking hard for me, because I'm such a doer that I'm like, no, I'll just get it done myself. Like even in, my past relationship, I was very much the driver of our motivation to do all of the achievements that we did. It was very much like, what's the next thing that we're doing? I handled the finances and did all the things. So it's like, now that I'm trying to call in more of a masculine person in my life in terms of safety too, like, and a provider, like provider doesn't come down to a financial provider. It is providing that safety for you so that you can actually open up and be in your feminine.
Yeah.
Mm.
Gosh, we should start like a recovery program for the masculine women out here. We're still in it though. We'll get there.
Masculine rehab.
The whole
That
world
could
needs that
totally
right
be
now.
a fucking thing. Masculine rehab. Don't steal our idea.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a dance, hey, because like my beautiful partner, like he is such a balance of masculine and feminine. He's like so in connection to his emotions, and he's tender, and like he had a tough start to life, so I think that's what that comes from. He's sensitive to things. But he has, he's really changed my life in providing those riverbanks for me. And actually, he's the first person in my life that's also just called me out on my shit and been like, no, I'm not going to actually put up with that behavior. So it's catapulted me into transformation because he's not letting me stay where I'm at.
And a
And
bit of a mirror there.
he's a huge mirror. And I think, like all of the good things that have come from the last few years in my life has come from that partnership. Still has its struggles, like all do, but
it's been so beautiful to watch.
Yeah, thanks.
To actually fall in love.
Yeah,
I just remember. Yeah, I remember from the start. So cool.
Yeah, it's really been a journey, and like I said, like a lot of the time, what we're coming up against in our partnership is like my shit, to be quite honest. And like, it's not that he doesn't have his own, but I feel like when you're the more kind of like, you're probably similar to me. I'm definitely the more like outspoken one. Like I'm the pursuer and he's the withdrawer. So I'm the one that has to rein it in, to be quite honest, because otherwise he doesn't have the mic ever. Yeah.
What a beautiful process to have to go through, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
With such a amazing man.
He is pretty good. Shout out, E-Man.
Yeah, so cool. Well,
That was big.
can we wrap it up?
Yeah, I
That
think
was so good.
Yeah,
I love
thanks.
that.
I
I
don't
feel
know
like we
where we
covered,
went.
but I feel like we covered so much. It's so great.
But hopefully you've gotten something out of the podcast, and thank you so much for listening to Phoebe and I today and our journeys. We're both very passionate about this work. I will pop how you can follow Phoebe in the show notes, and this will not be the last that you'll see of her. We will do many, many more.
Thanks, love.
Thanks, honey. Okay, bye.